Live in New York, y'all, right in front of the federal court. Monday, June 23rd, 2025. Got my man Artie here. Artie, who are you?
I'm Artie Rabbits from Eastern Pennsylvania.
Now, Artie, you've been here. When did you start coming?
First day.
Have you been here every day?
I think I went to the doctor one day.
And you are an in-courtroom observer. You're not from the outside. You're in the courtroom.
Well, yeah, like you.
Okay. What, you on the 26th floor or the 24th floor?
Well, I went to the 26th floor, but they wouldn't let me bring my my walker in, and that supports my back, and I have a bad back, so I had to go back to the 24th floor to auxiliary, and watch the trial from there.
Okay. Now, Artie, what was your feeling about Puffy 90 days ago, 120 days ago, when everything came down? What was your feeling about him in the case then, and then what's your feeling about him in the case today?
Well, I didn't really know anything about him. I'm not a rap listener or lover, and I really just know that for 160 years, since the end of slavery, brothers and sisters have been, abused and killed and beaten with very little punishment to the police who did it or to other people.
Now, when you say brothers and sisters, Artie, you mean black people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you feel? So you've been here every day, right?
Almost every day.
What's your feeling about the evidence? Because we're getting ready to wrap up. What's your feeling about the prosecution and the defense? Who do you think dominated, the prosecution or the defense?
I think the prosecution dominated, and it'd really have to be a miracle to him to walk away, unless someone in the jury loves him or Trump comes along with a pardon. That's the only way he's going to get out of jail.
So you think he's going to be found guilty?
99% feelings he's going to be found
Why
guilty.
you say that, Artie?
Well, mostly because he hired the male prostitutes, which, is one of the charges, interstate, basically prostitution, and he must have hired 100 people in the 25 years he's been popular, and paid enormous sums to these people to travel interstate. Some of the prostitutes, men got $2,000, $2,500, $4,000 was mentioned today a couple times. I just think he's definitely was guilty of that, and also he firebombed. There's evidence that he firebombed that other rapper's car.
What evidence?
Well, they saw his car license. The cops saw his car license pulling away from the scene.
Right, but then there was never no be on the lookout. They under cross-examination, no fingerprints, no video footage, no photos, no eyewitness, none of that of him ever being there.
Right, no evidence, just a car. That's the only thing that would have the license plate of the car that was mentioned.
Right, but there was no fingerprints of him on the Molotov. The fingerprints came back to a female.
But I think that what's going to happen at the end of this thing, you're going to see the prosecution is going to show that the car license is owned by Bad Boy Enterprises.
Right, but that came out in the testimony.
Yeah.
Right, but there was no fingerprints of Puffy ever having been there, though.
Right, we didn't have to send. He had a criminal enterprise. He doesn't have to send himself. He can go and send other people. He had 4 or 5 very strong armed guards taking care of him. They'd be happy to do that stuff for him.
But Artie, the fingerprints came back to a female, though.
I understand that, but that doesn't prove a negative. It just proves that there was maybe a female was involved. Maybe
It proves them. No, it don't prove no. It don't prove no. Maybe it don't prove no. It don't prove no. Maybe if the female fingerprints were there, that's not a maybe.
Was the fingerprints on the bottle?
When the LAPD came out,
Yeah.
they did a DNA wipe and a fingerprint swipe, and it came back to a female. No photos of Puffy there, no video footage of Puffy there, no fingerprints, no DNA, no eyewitness, nothing of Puffy ever having been there.
Do you know if that was on the bottle? Was there fingerprints on the bottle or not?
I think that came back to a female.
All right. That would prove he got a female to do the job, but it was his car.
Oh, come on, Artie. Come on, man.
That's just my feeling. You want my feeling?
All right. Now, what about the 17th floor balcony incident?
Well, there was a mistaken date there. I understand that. And remember, these people are walking around high half the time, not being fully aware of what's going on. And he was definitely, according to testimony, he was not in town that day, which was basically proven by the defense, but or at least testified to by the defense. But this lady didn't make it up. I don't think. She could have, but I don't think she did.
Who's that?
The lady who was testified, I think her
Brianna.
Was it Brianna?
Brianna Bongelin.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah. So she's the one who I don't think lied about that.
Artie, how could you say she didn't lie about it? And Puffy was in New York on the day she said that they was in L.A. on Cassie's balcony, and Cassie and Puffy was in New York the same day.
I think she made a mistake. I think she was, made a mistake in the dates.
How could she make a mistake when she showed the picture with the metadata that said September 26, 2016?
I missed that. If that happened, I missed that.
Right. Remember, you didn't see the picture she showed where she got bruised?
No, I didn't, because I had to leave at 3:30 several days because I was catching a 4 o'clock bus.
Okay. Oh, so you catch the bus all the way back to Pennsylvania every day?
Yeah, every day.
Okay. What about the other witnesses, Mia and Jane Doe? What do you think about Jane Doe?
Well, I think she was definitely in love with the guy. Definitely. He has a great personality, obviously, a genius businessman. And I tried to look up how many businesses he had. You couldn't tell it because he has businesses listed under subheadings. In other words, I couldn't see how many businesses he had, but he has a lot of businesses, and he has a lot of royalties coming in. So he's obviously a very smart guy, and also, he uses, he plans ahead a lot. It's just that he has this side thing that, kind of gives him a bad look or a bad rap.
Artie, do you think that Jane was SEX trafficked, forced, and coerced, or do you think she was a willing participant?
I think that she was a participant because she loved him, but obviously she fell out of this love enough that she decided she didn't want to participate. That's what I got from the testimony.
Okay. What about Cassie? Do you think Cassie was forced with coercion, or do you think Cassie was a willing participant?
I think Cassie fell in love with him also, and she did it for years. Part of the time because she had that first. She signed up for 10 videos or 10.
10 album deal.
10 albums. Well, she had one album, and he strung her along after that. And I think she fell in love with him and didn't want to hurt him. But on the other hand, she participated, and I don't think it was a willing participation. I think she did it because of her love for him and thinking it would make him happy. That's what I got from the testimony.
Okay. How do you think the case is going to turn out? You think he's going to get found guilty?
I have 3 bets that he's going to get found guilty every for $1. 3 people. Definitely think he's going to be found. He's not going to get out of jail.
Really? Okay. Hey, Artie, listen, man. Thanks for coming on the show, and we appreciate you. All right, later.